What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. 2 weeks out till Golovkin Brook. I just watched a reality type series, kind of like a 24/7 of Kell Brook called Behind the Ropes. Link in the description. Fast forward to the 10-minute mark, that's what the title of this video is. Kell Brook in the video was sparring with Canelo opponent. They both have September fights. He was sparring Canelo's opponent, Liam Smith, and Kell Brook is obviously preparing for Golovkin. Now, me, I try to be realistic. I cover boxing and report on boxing. I've been in several gyms, seen sparring sessions and stuff like that. So there's only so much you could take away from sparring. Sparring is basically, you're supposed to get good work to prepare you for the fight, but there's a lot of different variables and circumstances. So I don't weigh too heavily on sparring only, because you can look great in sparring and then freeze up. I think one of the best examples is Canelo. Before, according to the reports, before he fought Floyd Mayweather, they said Canelo was breaking people's noses, sending sparring partners home, and they couldn't continue with the camp. He was knocking out sparring partners. But what happened under those bright lights when he fought Floyd Mayweather? He lost damn near every round. So there's only so much. Plus, I've been in gyms and seen situations where, let's say, a fighter has sparred two other guys and he's on his third guy, so he's clearly not his freshest, and the guy's coming in for the first time just walked into the gym, so he's fresh. Meanwhile, the other guy sparred 2 or 3 other people before that. I've seen stuff like that. Some people do the same amount of minutes as in the actual fight, 3 minutes, but then I've seen people do it longer, 5 minutes and 6 minutes, stuff like that. So it just really depends. So there's only so much you could take. But from looking at the Kell Brook Liam Smith, I think that's a good look for both of them. They both have upcoming big high-profile fights where they're the underdogs, and they're both British from the UK, so, you know what I mean, why not have that camaraderie, help each other out? And stylistically, I guess Kell Brook's pretty big. I'm not going to say he fights exactly like Canelo, because they do things a lot different. I think, actually, I would say Canelo probably has faster hands than Kell Brook. Kell Brook doesn't have slow hands per se, but the way Canelo picks his shots and puts them together, I would say his overall hand speed in releasing combinations is faster than Kell Brook. But needless to say, it still should be top quality work. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt, because like I told you, I'm not real big on seeing someone that's sparring and determining they're going to be so much different for the fight, because who you're sparring is not who you're fighting. You know what I mean? Liam Smith is not Golovkin. Kell Brook is not Canelo. They do different things, and the best thing you could do, or the best advice I would say in sparring, is to get someone to mimic or mirror that opponent's style as well as they can. You know what I mean? And since they both have upcoming fights, I don't know how, because Liam Smith doesn't want to be vulnerable because he's preparing for his fight. Same thing with Kell Brook. So I don't know if that was a situation where Kell Brook's trying to fight like Canelo to help Liam Smith. If Kell Brook didn't have a fight, maybe he would alter his style and fight like the opponent. And I've seen fighters do that where they normally have a better defense, but if opponents preparing for, let's say, a Brandon Rios, someone who's just going to take more chances, more shots, then they'll mirror their style and be more aggressive, even though naturally they don't do that. Or if a guy doesn't move as much and you're fighting someone with a lot of movement that incorporates that, then they'll mimic it for that. But since they both have upcoming fights, I think they were just scrapping. That's just my opinion. But from the seeing it, it's a very short clip. Fast forward to the 10-minute mark. I always felt Golovkin would beat him, but just after watching this, I really feel it now. You know what I mean? Kell Brook looks massive, and I'll probably make a separate video about that. He looks big, but I don't know if that's helping him. I think that actually may hurt him, being that dense and that extra weight. Golovkin was 5 pounds away at his 30-day weigh-ins, 5 pounds away from where he needs to be. You know what I mean? And Kell Brook looks big. He's going to have to cut more weight. So I think that's part of his game plan. Like, I'm going to come in heavy, and he's going to feel my shots too. And maybe they'll catch Golovkin by surprise. I just don't see it. I think that added weight, and I'll try to break it down more in the next video. But as far as the sparring Liam Smith actually looked pretty good. So from that quick glimpse, and this is all I could judge for, I didn't see the whole sparring session. All I know is what they showed on the Behind the Ropes series. But from that quick sparring session, I think Liam Smith has a better chance to look good for more rounds than Kell Brook does versus Golovkin. And I probably would have said that before watching that, but you look at it towards the end of the round, Liam Smith was getting off some nice shots. Liam Smith was on the ropes. He had like a tight Josh Clottey type of high guard, and then he caught Kell Brook with the reckless shot. You even hear Kell Brook's corner saying, "Oh, you got caught towards the end of that. You can't be giving away," something to that effect. And then before that, I seen another punch that Liam Smith landed. That was like a looping punch, and he landed it and rocked Kell Brook's head back. So again, it's hard to judge, but it just looked like in that small stanza, it looked like Liam Smith did all right for himself. And Golovkin, I'm trying to tell people, and I'll probably do a 7 reasons why I'm picking Golovkin over Brook. Kell Brook is a great fighter that I rate at welterweight, but he's still the one that's having to do more in order to try to intimidate or shock Golovkin and stuff like that. Golovkin can be the same fighter he's been for the last 10 fights. He doesn't have to change his diet. He doesn't have to lift weights. He can do the same exact training that he's been doing. Meanwhile, Kell Brook is the one, quote unquote, daring to be great. He's the one taking this massive risk. He's the one that's out of his element, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. He's even said, I read in interviews, he said, "I'm eating up. Golovkin's gonna feel my size and I don't have to watch my weight." He said that in interviews. So it's just, there's so many things. Golovkin is very accurate for an offensive fighter. That's one thing he does very well. He pinpoints his shots, and he hits shots at like a weird ass trajectory. It almost looks illegal because it's like a downward chopping motion, but it's weird. I think a great example is how he knocked out Marco Antonio Rubio. He hit him with the chopping down, kind of like a more precise Maidana, but it came down on the top of Rubio's head. Now the thing with a shot like that is the dude has to have power. If he's punching, and like he was basically trying to loosen Rubio up, and open him up, because Rubio was against the ropes and had his guard real tight, and he was trying to open him up. So he was like digging to the body, like bow, bow, and then he came across with this over the top with the nasty punch, and it's hard to get the proper leverage on it to the point where you carry your power the same, yet Golovkin was able to do that. So I don't know if Liam Smith's getting off shots like that, and I don't know, and that's with headgear and everything, I just don't see what Kell Brook's gonna do different. I mean, like I said, this is not really, has nothing to do with just solely the sparring, because I picked Golovkin before, you know what I mean? I have to see something incredible in that sparring, that quick sparring, for me to have changed my mind, but it was just kind of more reassurance. So just get prepared. I'll probably drop the 7 reasons. Good luck to Kell Brook. I just don't see him winning. That's straight up. But it's a good series, the Behind the Ropes. Link in the description. Fast forward to the 10-minute mark if you want to watch the Liam Smith, Kell Brook sparring. As far as Liam Smith, we'll see. Maybe he could present Canelo with some problems. Canelo's clearly going to be the favorite. He's going to have the crowd advantage, but Liam Smith is pretty tall. He's unknown, and sometimes preparing, that's another thing. Preparing for a guy you don't really know too much about can be hard. You know what I mean? Everyone knows what Golovkin brings. Everyone knows Kell Brook. We've seen their fights. Like, you can probably find more Kell Brook fights on the YouTube than you can of Liam Smith, right? Good quality and stuff like that. So we'll see. But Liam Smith, he looked pretty solid in there. But again, it's just too short to tell. And this was one of many sparring, so we'll see what happens. I'm just going off of my intuition and what I've seen, reporting that back to you guys. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.